quadratic equation. The quadratic equation in x here can be written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So this is a general standard form, quadratic equation, second order equation here, where a and b and c are real numbers, and a cannot be equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, then I don't have a quadratic equation, and then I have the highest exponents would be x. So you have to make a little note here, a cannot be equal to 0. We should have a coefficient here other than 0 here for x squared. The given form is called standard form. So standard form is look like this. Solving a quadratic equation using the zero factor property. Step number 1, to write the equation in the standard form. So let everything be equal to 0. That is with all terms on one side of the equality symbol in descending power of the variable, and then 0 on the other side. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That's the form. Step number 2, we want to factor completely. Remember, you don't want it to be adding and subtracting each other. In order to use this property here, the zero factor property, you have to factor them, let them be equal to multiplying each other. Step number 3, apply the zero factor property, set each factor with a variable equal to 0. Step number 4, solve the resulting equations like we did earlier. And step number 5 is check each value in the original equation, write the solution set, usually write in those brackets. Let's take a look at the example. Okay, here's the standard form. Step number 1, we want to make it standard form. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. So let everything, all the number in descending order within the left-hand side equal to 0. And then I want to factor this. Okay, we should know how to factor by now. Okay, for 3x squared, the possibility would be 3 and 1. X squared would be x and x. You look at 4, 1 and 4, and then when you multiply the two closest term and two furthest term, you're going to get minus 1. We talked about how to factor this in great detail in the previous lecture, so refer to that if you still have a problem with factoring. Once you factor these, then you set each of these parentheses equal to 0 and just simply solve for x. Here we add 4 to both sides of the equation, divide by 3, divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of x, which is 3. Here we just subtract 1, and then we get our solutions. In the bracket, we put a 4/3 and minus 1. We want to check the answer, make sure they're correct, and we'll be done with that. So factor each equation. In this case, we have 16m squared plus 24m plus 9 equal to 0. First step is to write in the standard form. It's already in the standard form. Second term is to factor them. If you don't see this is a perfect square, you can use the trial and method error. Refer to my previous lectures if you still have a problem with factoring. You factor this, you notice that you get 4m and 4m, 3 and 3, so it would be 4m plus 3 squared. So here would be 4m plus 3 is equal to 0. The other one also would be 4m plus 3 equal to 0. So we get identical solutions here. 4m is equal to negative 3, m is equal to minus 3/4. So the only solution we get here would be minus 3/4. We actually get two identical solutions here, minus 3/4. You can check our answer. So substituting for each m minus 3/4, so it would add up to 0. Solve 2x squared plus 24x equal to 0. This is already in standard form. So I need to factor this. I can see I have 2x in common among these two. If I factor the 2x out, I get 2x times x plus 12. And then I have two parentheses here. So either 2x is equal to 0 or x plus 12 is equal to 0. Well, if 2x is equal to 0, I divide both sides of the equation by 2. I get x equal to 0. That's one solution. If I subtract 12 from both sides of the equation here, I get x equal to minus 12. So both solutions check in the original equation. The solution set would be minus 12 and 0. Notice that we have two solutions because this is a second order polynomial, quadratic equation. It means you expect to get two solutions here. If this were third order polynomial, if you have x to the power of 3, then you would expect to get the most 3 solutions there. Solve 5x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. The first step is to factor this. This is already a standard form. If I factor a 5, I get 5 times x squared minus 16. Now, here I can factor x squared minus 16. This is difference of square. So it would be x plus 4, x minus 4. I can really get rid of this 5 by dividing both sides of the equation here by 5. So I can eliminate this 5 here, right there. If I divide both sides of the equation by 5, 0 over 5 still would be 0. So I have x plus 4 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0, so x would be equal to either plus or minus 4.